when you do code, you make things, and when you do ethical hacking, you actually break things. So that's how we started as a career. I spent good number of years with the consulting. Then I got the opportunity to shift myself and work in the banks internationally, here, locally, everywhere. Then I joined Tata AIG, which is my current organization, and I got an opportunity of handling CISO profile. So that's been my journey so far. In journey, I have learned a lot of things. I had a variety of experience, as I said, starting from making things, from breaking things, and auditing and assessing those things.
How has the role of CISO also changed or shifted over these years?
So, I mean, of course, the role of a CISO is just not about protecting things. It's about, enabling the transformation of this ever-evolving digital transformation or the digital evolution that we are going through currently. So, in that, CISO plays an important role in protecting not only the core infrastructure or the core things, but at the same time, the various things that the business or whichever the organizations are taking things into the digital transformation journey. So you have to be, little, I don't want to use, say, orthodox, the typical old school mindset, but you have to be a little modern CISO. You have to evolve yourself with this evolving technological transformations that are happening. And then you have to wear multiple hats during this transformation. So
In terms of tech investments, risk mitigations, or evolving overall, your compliance expectations? What's on your list right now?
I mean, everything is on the list to be very honest, but I believe few of them is, as I said, that you have to understand the trend that are happening or the breaches that are getting surfaced. Three things that I've already mentioned. So identity is one which needs more attention from CISO. Then your cloud journey, because most of organizations are moving to the cloud journey. So your cloud becomes a bigger exposure than your on-prem, or any such other environment that you're going to. So that becomes another journey because cloud is a complex ocean. Second is, of course, your third party is another, possible areas in which data could be leaked because you can't ensure that all the third parties that you integrate with will have the same rigor and focus on the cybersecurity that they implement in the organization. There could be some loose ends at their end. So you have to ensure that you do a review on a regular basis with your third parties and you have a fair expectations with them, in terms of the security that what is expected when you engage with them. So I believe these are the few current challenges that I believe every CISO might be facing.
You're watching the mainstream. I am Simran Shiwalkar, your host for today, and we are back with a new episode from our exclusive series called Voice of CISO. Today, we have with us yet another visionary leader from the tech space, welcoming Mr. Dhiraj Ranka. Firstly, Dhiraj, thank you so much for being a part of the series and joining us today.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for having me today for this series.
Absolutely. Mr. Dhiraj Ranka. He is a seasoned cybersecurity leader and currently serves as the Chief Information Security Officer at Tata AIG General Insurance Limited, where he plays key role in safeguarding digital infrastructure, ensuring secure innovation. With deep expertise in application security, vulnerability assessments, as well as policy frameworks, Dhiraj is known for embedding security into every layer of technology, right from coding to culture. His approach blends technical rigor with strategic foresight, making him a trusted voice in navigating today's complex threat landscape. I'm more than excited to hear some incredible insights from this cybersecurity leader. So, without any further ado, let's begin. Firstly, Dheeraj, thank you so much. And like I said, a dynamic experience so far. Let's start with your professional journey. What inspired you to pursue a career in cybersecurity, and how has your path evolved over the years?
Sure. I'll just take a kind of a step back and the how I started my journey is basically postgraduate from computer science was looking for a job kind of thing in the market. That time I got introduced to, the coding was the only thing that we knew during that days. So I started my career as a security developer with one of the consulting company. And from there, the interest grew in, the ethical hacking part, because that's being a security consulting company. That's what the other peers or the other colleagues of mine, they were doing in that company. That's how the interest grew. So I started as a security developer who build secure products for that company, and then the interest shifted from developing to actually kind of doing things or breaking things. Basically, when you do code, you make things, and when you do ethical hacking, you actually break things. So that's how we started as a career. I spent good number of years with the consulting. Then I got the opportunity to shift myself and work in the banks internationally, here, locally, everywhere. Then I joined Tata AIG, which is my current organization, and I got an opportunity of handling CISO profile. So that's been my journey so far. In journey, I have learned a lot of things. I had a variety of experience, as I said, starting from making things, from breaking things, and auditing and assessing those things. So that's more or less my journey so far, and I have enjoyed it thoroughly, and that's about it.
Fantastic. Nextly, Dheeraj, I want to understand from you, as a cybersecurity leader and as a CISO today, how do you view your core responsibilities? Is it just beyond protecting the systems, especially in the context of enabling digital transformation? How has the role of CISO also changed or shifted over these years?
So, I mean, of course, the role of a CISO is just not about protecting things. It's about, enabling the transformation of this ever-evolving digital transformation, or the digital evolution that we are going through currently. So, in that, CISO plays an important role in protecting not only the core infrastructure or the core things, but at the same time, the various things that the business or whichever the organizations are taking things into the digital transformation journey. So you have to be, little, I don't want to use, say, orthodox, the typical old school mindset, but you have to be a little modern CISO. You have to evolve yourself with this evolving technological transformations that are happening. And then you have to wear multiple hats during this transformation. So you can't say that I'll just have only these things in my mind and I'll do these things. But yes, protecting systems is a foundational, that's of course a core responsibility. But I don't think so. It is enough. You have to have enable yourself with the business. Make you be an enabler in the business, not being a showstopper or roadblocker for them. When they launch new products, or when they move things to the cloud, or say, for example, they move or integrate things with third-party platforms. So you have to take, little risk-informed decisions during those times, rather than just keep on saying no to everything. So you have to. I believe, in my perception, we as a CISO have to become a partner in, rather with business, and embedding security into each and every their initiatives. That I believe you can say embed the security in the architecture that business wants to drive. Can do that right from the beginning when you do coding and many other things. So you have to foster the security culture by design. Once you start doing that, I believe business would appreciate all those initiatives that you'll do, and they will definitely see you as a partner rather than showstopper or roadblocker.
Absolutely. And I mean, rightly said so, Dheeraj. You've also got a strong focus when we talk about application security.
Yeah.
How do you ensure that security is integrated in the early stages of development, whether it's a software development life cycle? And what role does, it play when we talk about continuous testing play?
So I believe we might have heard, like, we been to many conferences, we go to multiple, or we go through a lot of the researchers like Gartner, Forrester, and all the other in this space, and then we hear about a lot of coined terms. One of them in this space, or related to the question that you asked, is shift left. Right, shift left basically means, of course, for me it is not a buzzword. It is basically like the bare minimum essentials when it comes to security, when it comes to the development or the application security. So basically, it means that you shift your security towards the left side, that is right when the development starts, or even before that, right? Once you do the architecture of an application or of your any other integrations that you're doing, you do threat modeling or any other such initial stages or initial design practices that you follow, you start embedding security right from those stages. So that may include, you have to follow, you have to define a secure coding practices, you have to do a code reviews. That could be multiple ways. It could be an automated security testing. It could be manual also, and everything into, I believe DevOps is the very common things that people are aware about, because in IT era, in this digital transformation journey that we are going through, DevOps is a very common term, but DevSecOps is what also becoming common now, and people are integrating many security practices within DevSecOps pipelines as we know it.
Correct.
So that's one thing that we have to do. And in terms of the continuous testing, when you integrate all these things I've just mentioned, I believe those will take care of it. But now there are new things coming up, like container security is another, right? API security is second, and many other things. So that includes, because these generally you will go whenever you go on cloud, these container security and API security and all those things will come into the picture. And that time you have to ensure that you have certain, ways in which you do a continuous scanning. Like, at least though it is little of the track, like at least for the cloud, you will have something called as your CSP or CNAP or any such other tools that will ensure that your journey on the cloud is also secure. But on the continuous testing of your application security, you will have either a static or dynamic, analysis that through an automated testers during the code time when the code is not deployed. So you will do continuous scanning on your static code, and when the code is deployed in UAT or any such other environment, you will have an automated scanner which will do the one round of testing for you, and then it will give you some results. And in case of any showstopper results that you find, then you can definitely, take a call whether you want to ensure that this deployment needs to be stopped or you can let it go. So those kind of, as I say, risk informed decisions are the ones you have to take in. But that's, I believe, my take on the continuous testing in the software development lifecycle.
Great. And, firstly, thank you so much, Dheeraj, for giving a comprehensive view about the secure testing. Next, I want to understand from you today, what are some of the pressing challenges or some pain points that a lot of cybersecurity leaders or CISOs are facing? The threat landscape is evolving, threat actors are getting more and more, matured with their risks. So, what is the scenario today, if you could shed some light on that? And how are you approaching them?
So I believe one of the biggest challenges that is increasing is the sophistication of these threats.
Correct.
Because as a CISO or a cybersecurity practitioner, we are using AI, and they are, I believe, not even two or at least 10 steps ahead of using AI, for doing the attacks
Correct.
with the sophistication. So that's, I believe, one of the biggest pressing challenge that we have on this ever expanding threat landscape that we have. And that could be in cloud, in a remote work, in third party integration, and in many other areas in which we could see. I believe if you see the recent breaches, across the industries, you would find at least three major, kind of areas in which people or the organizations are failing. One being identity, wherein, identities are getting stolen, identities are getting impersonated, and those things. Then your APIs are getting exposed without any authentication authorization. You don't have enough controls over there. And third is, of course, your third parties, wherein you're sharing unnecessary additional data with them and they are getting breached, and then you are getting, getting penalized for those. So these are the three, I believe, challenges that majorly we have seen as a trend in the recent breaches that are surfaced. Few other things could be, the speed and the agility in the business, right? Because you want to implement cybersecurity, as we had discussed in previous questions, that you want to ensure that you're fostering a culture of cybersecurity in the design stages and with the business, right? But that comes with the challenges of speed and agility. You can't do that as rapidly as business wants to go live, but at the same time, they have to go live. So they have to strike a balance between these two. There are many other, as I said, there are many other things like we have zero trust architectures wherein many peoples are failing. There are hardly few use cases or the organization would see who is actually being successful in these implementation. Enhance detection and response capabilities. I believe most of the organizations are, adapting this very rapidly, and this is one of the stable areas I believe so far. And the automation in threat hunting is another area wherein I believe CISOs are looking after some ways in which they can get these things done. So that's my take on this thing. But at the same time, I believe the suggestion would be that you have to, invest in threat intelligence, because that is what will give you, I would say, a breather or some better understanding of the visibility of your exposure across the dark web, deep web, surface web, whatever you name them. And you try, do, and believe few old school methods like red teaming exercises, to ensure and do a dipstick exercises on all the controls that you implement. So that's how I feel, that you can. These are the various challenges I believe the CISO have,
These are the
various
current challenges
areas.
that
Correct.
are commonly coming across. Like, and threat
Yes.
intelligence is seen like a must-have approach right now, if it's safe to assume so.
Yeah.
Great. And moving on, next, I want to understand culture is a critical part of cybersecurity. It's at least considered so. So when it comes to, building teams, how do you ensure or how do you build a security first, a team that has a security first approach? And how do you ensure that the awareness goes beyond all your traditional trainings, that all the checkbox are, taken care of?
I mean, it's a very difficult task for a CISO, wherein you have to build a mindset for each and every individual that the security comes first. I don't think so that it is possible, but at the same time, it is not impossible. I'm sure that everybody will agree that it is not 100% possible, but you have to keep that target of 100%, then you will reach somewhere close to that. Sorry, because 100% is not possible in any area of cybersecurity.
Correct.
So that is one thing which is very clear in our mind. So, and it's more of a, it's a culture which build a real firewall rather than the typical ones that we actually use in our network. But this culture becomes your real firewall against, all kind of attacks that you can imagine. So to give you examples, like let's take an example of phishing, right? Every CISO of the organization, they will definitely do phishing simulations. If your culture is so strong, then your phishing simulation results, if you see the trend, it will definitely dipping and hopefully will come to a close to zero. It'll never be a zero. That's one thing we have to accept as a CISO. But yes, it will come very close to zero, because I mean there could be multiple reasons. There are iterations, new people join, the culture that you already built is going with the people going from your organization, and so on and so forth. There could be a number of reasons. So that's one thing. So that's the reason I'm saying the your culture that you will try to foster within your employees, that becomes your real firewall. The other example could be social engineering attacks which are happened. So any attack, not only phishing and social engineering, I'm saying any kind of attacks that are related to the people, then this culture of cybersecurity will become a real firewall on those. But at the same time, it is difficult also, because you can kind of still imbibe these culture into developers and coders, because they understand this what once you give them the entire picture of the impact that the issues can have, they will definitely understand, and they will change the way they code. But if you go to the other side of the users, which are majorly business, which are sales, customer facing team and everything, it is very difficult to give them the understanding, because their mind works differently, because their focus is on different things. So giving them that understanding of protecting client data probably give them some hint or a boost of developing that cybersecurity culture with them, because you have to give them the context that I'm not trying to save the company data, I'm trying to save your own client's data, so that then sensitization becomes important, context becomes important. So you just have to play different games. I'm sorry, not games, but you have to play or check with different mindsets, and then your awareness has to be different for different departments of your organization. So that's one
Exactly.
thing that I believe that's how you will be able to kind of go beyond the check in the box trainings. Otherwise, it is very difficult, as I said initially, for a CISO, to achieve or to foster a security culture.
Well said. And like you said, you need to have a whole different approach when it comes to different set of, cybersecurity landscape that you're looking at, the industry that you're involved in, the sectors you are, the organization or the business is invested in. So, lastly, from a leader's perspective or a cybersecurity leader's perspective, looking ahead on your, security roadmap, what do you consider as the topmost priorities, whether it's in terms of tech investments, risk mitigations, or evolving overall, your compliance expectations? What's on your list right now?
I mean, everything is on the list to be very honest, but I believe few of them is, as I said, that you have to understand the trend that are happening or the breaches that are getting surfaced. Three things that I've already mentioned. So identity is one which needs more attention from CISO. Then your cloud journey, because most of organizations are moving to the cloud journey. So your cloud becomes a bigger exposure than your on-prem, or any such other environment that you're going to. So that becomes another journey because cloud is a complex ocean and then you're diving into it. So security also becomes complex in that ocean. So it's not simple as your on-prem because in on-prem you can architect things, you can change things, and many of the things. Your visibility is much better in your on-prem environment than on cloud because the small configuration in cloud can actually give the attacker a complete access of the cloud. So there could be n number of possibilities when you move to the cloud. So that's one. Second is, of course, your third party is another possible areas in which data could be leaked because you can't ensure that all the third parties that you integrate with will have the same rigor and focus on the cybersecurity that they implement in the organization. There could be some loose ends at their end. So you have to ensure that you do a review on a regular basis with your third parties and you have a fair expectations with them, in terms of the security that what is expected when you engage with them. So I believe these are the few current challenges that I believe every CISO might be facing. There could be many more, but I believe these are few primary ones that the CISO might be facing.
So these could be the top priorities for at least, the coming years for
Yeah.
CISOs
And
also.
of course, how can I forget the most abused word of AI? So that's
Correct.
another challenge which I would like to highlight because we are now many of the OEMs or the companies that are talking about that they are AI enabled and everything. But I believe it's not about the AI in cybersecurity. It's about cybersecurity for AI is what the new thing that people have to look in because when you give a lot of data to your AI, you don't know where the data is going, how the people are using that data, who are sharing all this information outside, inside. I mean, to be very honest, most of the CISO will have zero visibility on these, AI that people are, I would say, just rushing into it.
Great. I mean, Dheeraj, this conversation has been very, very deeply insightful. And thank you so much for sharing some
Thank you.
critical insights from your point of view, sharing your experience and your journey as well. Well put. And I'm sure our audience has a lot to take away from this session. I just want to take a moment to thank you once again for being a part of this series. And
No
before
problem.
we conclude, I look forward to having more such conversations with you.
So, thank you.
Thank you.